Alrighty. It says that we're live. Can you hear me? Marcus Conte reporting, trying to make this thing work, man. Impeachment. That's what we're talking about right now. You guys hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Let's listen to this.
From New Jersey, Mr. Pasquarello for 1 minute.
Gentleman's recognized for 1 minute.
Madam Speaker, we're here today because of the failure of so many to cast aside narrow ambition to confront the threat standing before us. Offered the chance to investigate this government together, the president and his party stonewalled and obstructed. We're here today because and belongs to us and us alone. The buck has stopped. Many have invoked the judgment of history as an antidote to this
All right,
threat.
here we go.
But the threat to democracy is here today, not tomorrow. We need not. We must not.
All
right.
There was no pressure. There was no pushing. We have the fact Ukraine didn't know aid was.
Okay, Marcus Conte reporting. Sorry for that. This is, and we're back. Good. Teenage FBI, fuck you. You're out. Thank you, Vinny. Goodbye. No jerk-offs tonight. We're just having a political discussion. This is a political discussion, so no fucking bullshit advertising. So here we are. This is the impeachment process here, and there's the good old Republicans talking away.
The guy who started it all. This is really
I've been watching this shit now for about 3 hours, 4 hours. It's just so boring and so, I guess, so predictable, right? I got the Skype open as well. If somebody wants to, if you guys want to call in, this is your night. This is not. I don't have any show planned. I think that it's a, I got my Trump hat on today because Trump is the man, right? Trump does not deserve getting impeachment. When you base it on, when you look at the facts, when you look at the reason why the Democrats are impeaching this president, when you look at the vote, that it is 100% witch hunt Democrats voting to impeach and 100% Republicans voting not to impeach. This is a political witch hunt at its finest, really. So just raise your hand if you can hear me. Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. So I know I'm not talking to myself. Am I talking to myself? Are you guys there? Is anybody out there? Is there anybody out there? Can you see me? Let me see. There's a live chat. Oh boy. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Shift down show. It's a shift down show. What's that mean? What does it mean? I can hear you. We can hear you. I can hear you. Impeach the motherfucker. That's what it's all about, right? Impeach the mofo. Come on, man. Ain't no sucker. So I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? I mean, I just did my good. Keep jamming fucking Lepo, that jerk off. So again, I have a hard time. My shows are usually pre-recorded, and I come out here and I do my thing.
The power of his office by corruptly putting his own political interests ahead of
this isn't really my lane, the live thing. So it's really you. So if you guys want to. If anybody has the ability to do a Skype, you want to call me in, I'll turn the Skype on right now. And that should work out. If you want to Skype in and intervene and, be an intervener in this discussion. So what we're looking at right now, I'll just give you an overview of what we're looking at. Right now, we are looking at about a half an hour left, where all of the Republicans and all the Democrats, the entire House, is going to vote probably between 7 and 8 o'clock at some point. And so that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the congressmen. They each get 30 seconds, an hour, whatever. 30 seconds, a minute. And then they're going to go to a vote. But we already know the answer to the vote. Tonight, for the first time, Donald Trump will be impeached. He'll be the third president in the history of the American experiment to be impeached. The first one was Andrew Johnson back in the Stone Age, and then it was Bill Clinton. And Donald Trump will be the third president to be impeached in the history of this great nation. And but no sitting president has ever been removed as a result of impeachment. So this is he's not going to get removed. The Senate will hold a hearing, and 100% chance that the Senate needs 2/3. We need 2/3 of the Senate to impeach the president. Right? Again, it's just bullshit. I mean, if you really look at the articles of impeachment, here's the articles of impeachment. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, is impeached for high crimes and misdemeanors, and that the following articles of impeachment be exhibited to the United States Senate. Articles of impeachment exhibited by the House of Representatives of the United States of America in the name of itself and the people of the United States of America against Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. How many times are they going to say the same thing over and over again? In maintenance and support of impeachment against him for high crimes and misdemeanors. High crimes and misdemeanors. So there it is. You know, here's the articles of impeachment. This is what we're talking about here on the news. Here's what the good Congress people are talking about. The allegation that $391 million was held back by Donald J. Trump in exchange for dirt on Joe Biden, who Joe Biden, by the way, isn't even a legitimate. He's not even a legitimate candidate at this point. He's not Donald Trump's rival at this point. The Democrats are fighting amongst each other. And good job, Vinny. Good job, Vinny. I see Vinny doing his work. Vinny's the moderator, man. Don't fuck with Vinny, man. Don't fuck with my man, Vinny. So again, it's very distracting for me, the comments. But I'm interested in what you guys have to say. It's all me. It's mostly me talking all the time. But. So let's look at these impeachment. And this is also not my hour. I'm a morning guy, man. I'm already half asleep. So the first article of impeachment is abuse of power. His power. Oh, Donald Trump, he's so powerful. And the second article of impeachment is to obstruct Congress because he refused to deal. He refused to I don't know, talk to them or whatever. Right? But it amounts to high crimes and misdemeanors. When you think about the essence of what's going on here, and you think about Hillary Clinton, for example, how many times she lied to Congress, right? Though she's not the president. Better you look at Barack Obama, dropping bombs on sovereign nations, starting wars. Look at impeach Trump for his involvement in Venezuela, lying about Venezuela being a rogue nation. Pick something legitimate, but spying on a political candidate that doesn't even matter is kind of ridiculous. So let's listen to these jokers for a while.
He has indeed abused his authority, and he has indeed obstructed justice. He threatened to withhold congressionally appropriated U.S. taxpayer dollars from an ally under attack from Russia unless they agreed to interfere in our election on his behalf. He has expressed no remorse, and he continues to maintain that his behavior was, quote, perfect, while simultaneously obstructing legitimate congressional oversight and subpoenas.
Chicken Beak makes a good comment, man. If they start throwing chairs. I bet the chairs are nailed down. What do you think? You think that the chairs, that would be great, man. A fucking, like a chair fight right on the fucking house. Do something crazy, right? Come on.
Built upon the rule of law, not the law of rulers. The framers gave us their best effort in 1787, and indeed it was an extraordinary one. The Constitution they set down wasn't perfect, but it founded a republic that has endured and thrived with exceptional stability. As the late Senator Moynihan pointed out, only 2 countries in the world, both existed in 1800 and have never had their governments changed by violence since then, the United States and Britain. Only 8 governments have existed since 1914 and have not had their form of government changed by force since then. The United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, South Africa, Sweden, and Switzerland. The innovation.
Ask me a question, man. Fucking ask me a question. Sitting there doing nothing, watching these idiots, these fucking empty suits talk, man. Just get to the vote already. We already know what it's going to be.
No government in the world at
Bunch of
that time
assholes.
exposed the head of government to impeachment, but America was to be different. In the view of the framers, impeachment is in no way a constitutional crisis. It is a process that the framers wisely judged that we would sometimes need. This evening is one of those rare moments. Madison worried that one day the country would elect a president who, quote, might pervert his administration to a scheme of peculation or oppression. He might betray his trust to foreign powers, end of quote. George Mason asked the delegates, quote, shall we see any man to be above justice? And above all, shall that man
Yeah,
be
just for the
above
comments, I see what's going on over there. Good work, Vinny. This is not a LARPer thread. All the LARPers, go away. Go away. This is not your time and your place. This is where the adults. So carry on.
7 presidents of the United States.
Outrage if Hillary Clinton comes in at the tail end of the process at the convention, she doesn't run at all, and then all of a sudden the superdelegates throw an election to Hillary Clinton. Can you imagine that would probably be the end of the Democratic Party. That would be the first time in history that the Democrats openly say, we don't give a shit about the people voting. We don't really care because our rules say, oh yeah, I know, we just pretended that there was a primary season, but we don't really give a fuck. We're just going to pick the candidate. Democrats have never really done that in modern history. They came close to doing it in 1968. It was, I believe it was Eugene McCarthy ran against somebody else, and then that somebody went on to lose to Nixon. So the one time that they tried to, I think the people were for Eugene McCarthy after RFK got shot, but since then the will of the people has never been really overthrown. So to say that Hillary Clinton that's going to happen in 2020, it's not that it can't happen, but it would be unprecedented in modern history.
Condescending bureaucrats and every other kind of swamp critter in this godforsaken place tell the American public who the president should be. That's the job of the American voter.
I think Pence upside in. Pence better or worse? I think Pence would be worse because at least Trump is a little resistant to the bullshit, right? At least Trump, pushes back a little bit. He's more interested in his own, thing. But Pence is just a corporate shill, So I don't think he has the will of the people. I think Pence would be a horrible president.
And college students are taking final exams and sweating out the results.
I'm a Bernie Sanders guy. I still think Bernie, right? Fucking put Bernie against Trump. Let Bernie win. Let him get a half a term. If he dies, if he makes it through one term, so what, man? Just set it up, man. Set up politics.
Like my grandfather, whom our family believes literally was born on the boat on the way over here from Germany. Or my father, who fought in World War II against the very people that his grandfather had left. We are all here today, all of us, because someone before us sacrificed so that they could journey here and build a new life in this unique land. And we are here today because those immigrants and their children were dedicated not just to the land of America, but to the idea, freedom and opportunity secured by self-government, choosing our own leaders in free and fair elections, and the rule of law under the Constitution.
Gentleman's time's expired.
2 minutes?
Madam Speaker, happy to yield another 30 seconds to the gentleman from Washington.
Gentleman's recognized.
This idea of America is in peril, brought about so by this president who sought to cheat in an election.
What Adam Schiff did, I've been watching this for a while. Adam Schiff, he held the balance of his time, his speaker's time. So you're going to hear mostly Democrats right to the end right now because the Republicans are the minority. So they already, I believe they already shot their load. So you're hearing mostly Democrats right now.
What is our obligation to those who would follow? It is simply this: to do our duty, to defend the Constitution and the values underpinning it by voting yes on the articles of impeachment. I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Georgia.
I reserve, Madam Chair.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from California.
Madam Speaker, I'm proud to yield to the gentlelady from Florida, Ms. Demings, for 2 minutes.
Gentlelady is recognized for 2 minutes.
Madam Speaker,
As I said before, if you want to Skype me, if you want to Skype in and talk, you want to ask a question, you want to have a conversation, go right ahead. Don't be a dickhead or I'll hang up on you. You don't have to use face. If you just want to use the audio part of Skype, that's fine. We'll hear you very clearly. It works pretty good.
regard for the rules. People who spend a lot of their time trying to figure out how to game the system. Law enforcement officers call them habitual offenders. And the more they get away with, the more likely they are to engage in misconduct. Some say it takes courage to hold powerful people accountable, but I see it differently. I see it as a sense of duty, a regular part of my job as a member of Congress. However, habitual offenders usually don't sneak up on you. They usually telegraph their intentions time and time again. On July 27th of 2016, in my home state of Florida, then candidate Trump said, "Russia, if you're listening, I hope you will be able to find the 30,000 emails, thereby inviting foreign interference into U.S. elections." But then the day after the special counsel testified before Congress, the president, feeling undeterred and emboldened, said, "Call President Zelensky," and pressured him to help him rig the elections, and chose to hold much-needed military aid over our allies' head until the president's demands were met. Now, I served 12 years on the hostage negotiations team, and I know that pressure and demands come in many forms. And in this scheme, we had both. I've enforced the laws, and now I write the laws. But the laws mean nothing if the accused can destroy evidence, stop witnesses from testifying.
I can't see the window. How many thumbs up do we have, and how many how many people are watching right now? I can't see the. For some reason, I can't see the facts. Somebody write in how many people are watching, and give it a thumbs up as well. Thank you.
Because no one is above the law, and he shall be held accountable.
Gentleman from Georgia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. At this moment, I yield for a unanimous consent request. The gentleman from Arkansas,
Gentleman's
Ms. Crawford.
recognized.
Madam Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to enter my remarks into the record in opposition to this sham impeachment.
Without objection, so ordered. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. At this time, I yield 4 minutes to the gentlewoman from Wyoming, Ms. Cheney.
Gentlelady is recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Collins. And Madam Speaker, I rise today on the floor of this magnificent chamber, the very heart of our democratic republic. And I would imagine, Madam Speaker, that every one of us in this chamber, regardless of party, understands, shares a common view that being citizens of this great republic.
You had 33 views, 9 thumbs up. Very good, very good, very good. Let's keep watching, man. I don't. If anybody wants to, I chirp in on.
It is our miraculous.
It's really like watching paint dry. You just have to wait for the. We're waiting for the vote.
That has
We're gonna
safeguarded that
watch
freedom
the
for
vote come in,
230 years.
and we're gonna watch a historic moment together. We're gonna share this historic moment where the President of the United States, the duly elected President of the United States, Donald Trump, the President of the people, the guy who actually probably won legitimately, probably one of the few presidents in history actually won legitimately, and won the hearts of the people to a horrible candidate, Hillary Clinton, is about to be impeached for something so trivial and so ridiculous, right? And we're watching, let's talk about for a second I know this is Democratic politics, but there's a new poll out today. I don't believe any of the polls. I think they're all fake. But I do look at them just to see who the establishment is trying to promote. And right now you've got a new poll today, Wednesday the 18th. Joe Biden at 32, Sanders 25. Looks like Elizabeth Warren, they're slipping down a half of Bernie. The Economist has Biden at 29, Sanders 19. Yesterday, Biden 23, Sanders 14. So they're still plugging, they're still promoting the shit out of Joe Biden.
States asserts his constitutional privileges. The Democrats are asking members of this body to impeach, despite the fact that they have presented no direct evidence of any impeachable offense. Let me say it one more time, Madam Speaker. They have presented no direct evidence of any impeachable offense. If anyone in this chamber still believes the Democrats have proven their case, I would urge those members to ask the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, Mr. Schiff, why he failed to appear to answer questions about his report. Before members vote for impeachment, they might want to know why the author of the impeachment report will not defend it under questioning. If the House impeaches here, Madam Speaker, it will create exactly the type of risk the framers cautioned us to avoid. It will mean that divided government can imperil a democratically elected president based on unproven allegations.
Every once in a while, they do a time check. Who's asking how long before the actual vote? They'll do a time check, and it looks, the last time they did it, there was about an hour left at 6. So they're approaching the end. The Democrats, I believe, have more of the balance of the time, and then they'll go to an election. So I think we're about maybe 15, 20 minutes away.
Remove a future commander-in-chief. I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, Madam Speaker, think of our republic, think of the Constitution, think of the oath that we all swore to protect and defend that Constitution, and vote against these partisan, reckless, and dangerous articles of impeachment. I yield back.
Gentleman from California.
Madam Speaker, I'm proud to recognize the gentleman from Michigan, Mr. Levin, for 1 minute.
Gentleman's recognized for 1 minute.
Madam Speaker, today we proclaim that no person is above the law, not even the President of the United States. Donald J. Trump abused the power of his office and violated his oath of office by extorting a new and inexperienced president of a vulnerable foreign ally to dig up dirt on Mr. Trump's domestic political opponents. He then obstructed the Congress, this equal branch of our government, from undertaking our duty, outlined in the Constitution itself, to investigate and check these violations. Today, we do nothing more and nothing less than fulfill our duty to our country and to our Constitution. Mr. Trump has allowed foreign powers to interfere in our domestic affairs. He has endangered our national security and our democracy itself. For those reasons,
it's almost like insulting when they say it. You know what I mean? Like when you listen to him say it, that Trump has obstructed justice and worked with foreign powers. It's the President of the United States.
I yield for a unanimous consent request to the gentleman from Oregon.
Gentleman's recognized.
I pose this resolution on impeachment and ask that my words be put in the record.
Without objection, so ordered.
Madam Speaker, I have unanimous consent request from the gentleman from South Carolina.
Gentleman's recognized.
Madam Speaker, I oppose these resolutions. I ask for my comments to be admitted into the record.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I ask unanimous consent for the gentleman from Mississippi.
Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I oppose the articles of impeachment and like my comments be entered into the record.
Without objection, so ordered.
I reserve.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from California.
Madam Speaker, reserve the balance of my time.
Who seeks recognition?
Madam Speaker, I ask of the gentleman, is he ready to close?
No, we have a few more speakers.
Then I reserve.
Madam Speaker, I recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Espiat, for 1 minute.
Gentleman's recognized for 1 minute.
So that was an indication they're probably coming to a close right now. They're almost done. The Democrats have a few more people to speak.
Above the law. If you live on Webster Avenue in the Bronx part of my district, you are not above the law. If you live in Washington Heights, the immigrant neighborhood in my district, you are not above the law. So I submit to you that if you live on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, you are not above the law, and you will be held accountable. President Donald Trump asked Ukrainian president to do us a favor and look into the Biden. That's abuse of power. President Trump used the official White House meeting to extort a Ukrainian president. That's abuse of power. President Trump ordered White House staff to withhold $400 million in aid to the Ukraine. That's abuse of power. President Trump and his staff defied multiple subpoenas from Congress. That's obstruction of Congress. He blocked witnesses from testifying before this body. That's obstruction of Congress. Nadie está por encima de la ley. No one is above the law. I cast my vote for this impeachment, articles of impeachment, and I ask my colleagues to do the same.
From Georgia.
Madam Speaker, I yield for unanimous consent request from the gentleman from Virginia.
Gentleman's recognized.
Madam Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to enter my statement into the record, recording that I am opposed to this articles of impeachment on the basis that they do not measure to Article 2, Section 4.
Yeah. I reserve.
Gentleman from California.
Madam Speaker, I'm proud to recognize the gentlelady from California, Ms. Brownlee, for 1 minute.
Gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Madam Speaker, as the chair of the Women's Veterans Task Force, I see every single...
This is your government, people. This is your government. These are your elected officials. This is your voice in Washington. It's ridiculous, right? If I live in Democratic New York. I'm a registered Democrat by default because what else would you be in New York? But these people don't represent me. I'm certainly, I don't identify as a Democrat or a Republican or really independent at this point. But it's just remarkable to watch this and say, like, these people don't represent me. They don't speak for me, right?
So dear.
I don't know about you.
That abuse of power is reprehensible, and it is exactly what impeachment was designed to prevent. We have a solemn duty to protect our Constitution, to protect our democracy, and to honor all those who have laid their lives on the line for these United States of America. I yield back.
Gentleman from Georgia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. At this time, I yield for a unanimous consent request to the gentlelady from Indiana.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record my opposition to these articles of impeachment.
Without objection.
I reserve.
Gentleman from California.
Madam Speaker, I'm proud to recognize the gentlewoman from California, Ms. Davis, for 30 seconds.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Madam Speaker, make no mistake. We are not impeaching this president. he is impeaching himself. If you are the president and you obstruct justice, try to bribe a foreign leader, and threaten national security.
This is money in politics. You know, when I watch it, I say, this is money in politics. Each one of these Congress people it costs about $2 or $3 million to buy the seat. And then they get elected and they turn to the donors and say, okay, how could I help you? And this is a partisan, partisan decision. That's all it is, right? It's partisan politics. In that respect, Trump wins because it's not an organic vote where people actually are saying, did he break the law? No, it's I'm a Democrat, we vote to impeach. I'm a Republican, we vote not to impeach. It's rather disgraceful, really.
Gentlelady is recognized for 1 minute.
Madam Speaker, I stand before you as a representative of New Mexico, a place where we believe in dignity and respect for all. In Congress, I've been fighting for them. We've been working to make health care more affordable, education accessible, and move our country forward for the people. But today, this president has forced us into a serious debate. We're talking about a president who used the power of the presidency for his own political gain, risking our national security and putting the integrity of the next election at risk. It's a sad day when a president shows complete disrespect for Congress as a co-equal branch of government and for the American people who elected us. We collected the evidence and the facts are indisputable. We all took an oath to protect and defend our Constitution. We have the solemn responsibility to hold this president accountable because it's our job. I urge my colleagues to live up to our responsibility and show our fellow Americans that no one, not even the president, is above the law, and I yield.
Gentlelady yields back. Gentleman from Georgia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. At this moment, I yield to the gentleman from Oklahoma for a unanimous consent request.
Gentleman's recognized.
Ask unanimous consent to enter into the record my opposition to these articles of impeachment.
Without objection.
And I reserve.
Gentleman from California.
Madam Speaker, I recognize the gentlelady from North Carolina, Ms. Adams, for a unanimous consent request.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to enter into the record my statement in support of the articles of impeachment against President Donald J. Trump.
Without objection, so ordered.
I reserve the balance of our time.
Gentleman reserves.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. At this time, I give 5 minutes to the gentleman from Louisiana, the minority whip, Mr. Scalise.
Gentleman's recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Impeaching a president of the United States. This isn't about some solemn duty tonight. Let's talk about what this is really about. This has been about a political vendetta. A political vendetta that didn't just start with the Zelensky call. It started long before that. Just listen to some of the quotes from Democrats in this chamber. Speaker Pelosi, quote, "It's been going on for 22 months, 2.5 years actually. We cannot accept a second term for Donald Trump. What's more serious is that he can't win. This isn't about some crime that was committed. It's about fear that he might win re-election. That's not why you impeach a president." Al Green, quote, "I'm concerned that if we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected." The list goes on, Madam Speaker. In fact, there's some quotes that I can't even read on this House floor that some of our colleagues made. And keep in mind, more than 100 Democrats on this House floor voted to impeach this president before the Zelensky phone call. Just look at some of these articles of impeachment that they voted for. 2 years ago, 58 Democrats voted to impeach the president over comments he made about NFL players kneeling for the Pledge of Allegiance. Impeaching the president, over 50 Democrats voted to impeach him for that. Just this summer, over 90 Democrats voted to impeach the president for comments he made about the squad. So he makes comments about...
This is the Republican guy that took the 2 bullets. You remember this guy? He got shot. He got shot in the... he was playing softball. You remember this guy?
Political
His name's
vendetta. It has
Scalise?
nothing to do with a crime committed. There was no crime. And why don't we listen to some of the witnesses? Obviously, we weren't able to call all the witnesses we wanted, but there were witnesses. In fact, Gordon Sondland, U.S. Ambassador to the European Union, he's mentioned over 600 times in the Schiff report. He was their star witness. And what did he say when asked? Quote, did President Trump ever tell you personally about any preconditions for anything? His answer, no. Any preconditions for the aid to be released? No. Any preconditions for a White House meeting? Under oath he testified, no. Abuse of power. Let's talk about that article of impeachment, Madam Speaker. George Washington law professor Turley, who admitted under oath that he voted against Donald Trump, spoke to this claim of abuse of power. In fact, he said, quote, if you make a high crime and misdemeanor out of going to the courts, it is an abuse of power. It's your abuse of power. You are doing precisely what you are criticizing the president of doing. Abuse of power. There's a House rule, Madam Speaker, that requires, not allows, but requires that the minority get a day of hearing, which we asked for multiple times. They broke this rule. They didn't allow us to have a minority day of hearing. They didn't want to hear the facts about this case because it was never about the facts, because there was no crime. It is about a personal political vendetta. Now let's talk about obstruction of Congress, as they make up these terms to impeach a president because they didn't find a crime and they were looking. It's been an impeachment in search of a crime. But they talk about obstruction of Congress and saying the president defied subpoenas, subpoena after subpoena. Let's go through the departments. The Department of State they subpoenaed. Do you know that literally just 4 days after the subpoena, the Secretary of State himself responded to your subpoena? The Department of Defense, a week later, responded to the subpoena. The Department of Energy responded to the subpoena. We can go on and on with all of these agencies. That's an abuse of power. That's an obstruction of Congress, responding to your subpoena. That's what they did. They responded. You might not have liked the answer, but that's not the way this works. You don't impeach a president because you don't like his foreign policy, as so many of those foreign policy experts came and testified. But this isn't just about Donald Trump. They don't just hate Donald Trump, Madam Speaker. They hate the 63 million Americans who voted for this president, the forgotten men and women of this country who have been left behind, Madam Speaker.
House will be in order. Gentlemen may proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's those forgotten men and women of this country that Washington had left behind. And what's this president doing for them? He's delivering for them. 600 jobs in Pennsylvania. 1,000 jobs, workers in Mingo Junction, Ohio. $750 million investment for 600 new jobs across this country. Detroit News, Chrysler, 6,500 new jobs. That's what this president is doing to deliver for those men and women of this country who had been left behind. It's about time somebody stands up for him, and President Trump is. So it is a political vendetta. But if they're going to go through with this, Madam Speaker, impeachment will not just be a stain on this Democrat majority. Impeachment will be their legacy.
Members are reminded to address their remarks to the chair.
Well, that was exciting. At least somebody nobody threw a chair, but at least he got a little round of applause. A little ruckus.
Madam Speaker, I recognize Ms. Custer from New Hampshire for unanimous consent request.
Gentlelady is recognized.
Madam Speaker, I request the unanimous consent for enter in my statement into the record regarding the 75th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge in favor of articles of impeachment. Thank you.
If anybody wants to jump in, anybody wants to talk,
Madam Speaker, it is now my pleasure to
give me a call at on
gentleman
Skype.
from
You got the
Maryland,
number right down here on the
Majority
bottom,
Leader of the House
Skype
of
Live.
Representatives,
You just
Mr.
put in, you go to
Sullivan.
Skype, Marcus Conte, and then this is my my Skype address, and apparently it'll ring if you call me.
My colleagues,
The gentleman will suspend. The House will come to order. Gentleman's recognized.
Madam Speaker, I have had the honor of serving in this House for over 38 years. I've served during 6 presidencies. I've been here through moments of tremendous progress and terrible tragedy. I've seen periods of rank partisanship and patriotic bipartisanship. I've seen our two-party system work, and I've seen it break down. Never, in all my years of serving in this great institution that I love, and the people of my district, did I ever expect to encounter such an obvious wrongdoing by a President of the United States.
This guy looks like he just fell asleep.
Witness such a craven rationalization of presidential actions, which have put our national security at risk, undermined the integrity of our elections, and defied the constitutional authority of the Congress to conduct oversight. We've heard from Republicans that this impeachment really has to do with policy differences, though.
That was a crazy thing. Somebody's saying Dory Day Hobby about the piece of building that fell in Manhattan. That's a very scary thing. You know, these old buildings. That was right in Times Square too, where it was actually a cornerstone of the building. The whole fucking piece of the brick just fell and killed a lady. He landed on some lady walking by. It's scary, man. You know, for me, like whenever I see when I'm walking in the city and I see the scaffolds, I don't go under the scaffold because I don't want to get. That means things are falling. I walk out in the street, but it really does make you wonder, like, because people, you know, flower pots fall, air conditioners fall, now parts of the building peel off and fall. That was a real freaking thing, man, where a piece of the building cracked off and killed a lady. It's like fucking nuts, man.
Ineffective border wall and setting policies that have led to the separation of families and caging of children. We have to be sure deep disagreements with the policies and actions taken by this president. There's been a lot of talk about the 63 million people who voted for Mr. Trump. Little talk about the 65 million people who voted for Hillary Clinton. The policy difference, or those votes, this president was elected legitimately.
The House will stay in order. The gentleman deserves to be heard. Gentleman's recognized.
Because we have an electoral college. But none of these are reasons to pursue what Chairman Schiff has called a wrenching process for the nation. In fact, Democrats rejected that process emphatically in 3 specific votes. In December of 2017, Democrats overwhelmingly voted against pursuing articles of impeachment, including the Speaker and myself. We did so again in 2018, with over 60% of the Democrats rejecting pursuing articles of impeachment. And again, just months ago, in July of 2019, 60% of the Democrats said no to pursuing articles of impeachment. Just days before the infamous July 25th telephone call. We did the same with 60% of Democrats voting not to proceed.
Wow, this guy's boring.
Many of whom were appointed to office by President Trump have corroborated the details and timeline of his abuse of presidential power, which forms the basis of the first article of impeachment in this resolution. Instead, I will not recount all of the witnesses or abuses that have occurred. I congratulate my colleagues and Mr. Nadler and his committee and Mr. Schiff and his committee for setting forth a compelling case. They've been laid out fully in the articles before us and by colleagues in their remarks. What I will do is remind Americans that the House provided President Trump every opportunity to prove his innocence, but the witnesses were precluded from coming forth. The witnesses who have personal knowledge did not come, either at the president's request, in which he refused to show up because he thought it was a sham, as so many of you have said, or to the committees. Instead, he ignored congressional subpoenas for documents and for testimony by White House officials and ordered his subordinates not to cooperate. Perhaps they could have exonerated him. This itself, I suggest to you, is unprecedented. When President Nixon and Clinton were asked to hand over documents and allow officials to testify, ultimately both complied because it is the law. Such actions of the president can be taken as further evidence of his obstruction and abuse of power. It is, in and of itself, impeachable conduct, the subject of the second article of impeachment. These two articles before us concern two very profound constitutional issues about the...
Let's watch this for 1 second. Here's the lady that got hit in the head.
Mike Bloomberg's never been afraid of tough fights, the ones that make a true...
Fuck you, Mike Bloomberg. Fuck you. I got 20 minutes. We got 20 seconds. Hold on a second.
Whether it is acceptable for the President of the United States, any president, to solicit foreign interference in our elections. There is a difference as to whether he's done that, and the place to try that.
Good evening. I'm Sandra Bookman in for Shadad.
And I'm Bill Ritter. 60-year-old Erica Tishman, a prominent New Yorker, died after she was hit by a chunk of debris that fell off a building.
Tonight, scaffolding is going up around that building on 49th Street. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger is live in Midtown with the very latest. Josh?
Well, Sandra, city officials tonight confirmed that even though they discovered an unsafe condition at this building back in April, they didn't actually force the owner to install a sidewalk shed until tonight. And so right now, under the watch of the NYPD, workers are building that scaffolding. Obviously, too late to save a life. As life went on tonight at the crossroads of the world, mixed into the hustle and bustle, construction workers hammered together scaffolding.
Right there, man. Those scaffolds are so fucking dangerous. You walk under that thing and pow, it comes, a brick falls from 30 stories or something. You're dead, man. You're out.
A sidewalk shed meant to protect pedestrians from hazards above. If only it had been in place this morning. It happened in an instant, and Erica Tishman might not even have known what hit her. As she walked along, a piece of terracotta peeled away from the top of 729 7th Avenue and plunged to the street, landing right on top of her.
Sometimes you look up and you wonder how safe these buildings are. Well, it turns out in some instances, not very.
State Senator Brad Hoylman wants a criminal investigation because, in fact, city records reveal the Department of Buildings knew this was a possibility 8 months ago when an inspector cited the building for damaged terracotta above the 15th floor. Damage, the violation reads, that poses a falling hazard for pedestrians. The DOB violated the building on April 29th. The landlord paid a $1,250 fine, but, the city says, never actually fixed the problem.
The building owner did not fix the violation, and now we have today's tragedy.
Tishman was 60 and a lifelong New Yorker, a married mother of 3, well-known architect, a board member at Midtown's historic Central Synagogue. The building where she died is owned by the investment firm Himmel and Meringoff, which said in a statement, "We are saddened by this tragedy, and our hearts go out to the family." The company, it added, will fully cooperate with the city.
There could be criminal charges, and we might see jail time.
A bit too early, considerably early, to make that type of proclamation. The DOB has control of this investigation, and they say they'll be going into why it was that the building owner apparently did not make the repairs it was supposed to. Having said that, the NYPD's crime scene unit was on the scene all day and into the night. They only left about an hour ago after gathering all the evidence.
So there you have it, man. You saw it now. You know about it. You know about it. Let's get back to these. This guy is still speaking? Is this the same jerk-off?
It's July. We did not want this. However, President...
Why does this guy get a half an hour to talk? What the hell's going on? It's 5 minutes.
...to protect itself.
Sit down, Grandpa.
...about to take, and the process that will follow in the Senate are not only an assessment of the President's commitment to the Constitution or to his oath of office, it is, as well, a test of our own. Damning evidence of the President's high crimes has emerged. Nevertheless, Republican members of this House and of the Senate have continued to defend a President whose actions seem to many of us to be indefensible. All of us feel a sense of loyalty to party. It's what makes our two-party system function. It's what helps hold presidents and majorities accountable.
Let me just refresh this for a second.
With so many patterns,
I just want to make sure that it's that we're at the right speed and we're not lagging. He's still there.
Compromise by compromise, Donald Trump has hammered away at what Republicans once saw.
That's interesting, Vinny. You saw a mop handle or some shit kill a guy. I saw it one time, right, standing up on. It was 56th Street, right? I was standing right by where the pedicabs, set up, 56th and 7th Avenue, right? And all of a sudden you heard it sounded like a bomb. A fucking bomb went off. And what it was a guy, they said later what it was like a guy dropped his pliers from the 80th floor. And it came down, and when it hit, it sounded like an explosion. That's how loud it is, and it was just like a hand. It didn't kill anybody, but man, was it loud. It scared the shit out of everybody. Cleared the street.
Civil War to the Cold War. In 1950, Margaret Chase Smith, the senator from Maine, a Republican, spoke bravely against the cancer of McCarthyism in her party, leading 6 of her Republican colleagues in a declaration of conscience against their own leadership. We are Republicans, they declared.
Brave browser for the to block YouTube ads. All right, I'll take a look at that. Thank you.
In 1974, one congressman took the brave and principled step of becoming the first Republican on the Judiciary Committee to support impeaching President Nixon. He said to his colleagues and to the country, and I quote, "It isn't easy."
So I want to thank you all, guys. This is the first live stream that I've ever done. So this is really not my lane. Walking around in the city, talking to people, that's my lane. Talking out in the park, that's my lane. Or just making, substantive videos. But this is, it's a little late at night for me, too. I'm usually sleeping by now. Or at least taking a nap. But thank you. I want to do more of these live streams. Maybe earlier in the morning or definitely when there's subjects that can benefit from interaction rather than just me talking and doing the research, right? Because I didn't research this. We're just here to, hang out and see the vote at some point the vote will come up. You know, after this guy's going to take a fucking.
And I cannot, in good conscience, turn away from the evidence of evil that is to me so clear and compelling. My colleagues, that congressman's name was Larry Hogan Sr. He represented the 5th District.
Can you hear the fireworks in the background? I hope they're not gunshots.
When Larry Hogan Sr. died in 2017, every obituary led with praise for his act of political courage. Who among us, many years from now, will receive such praise as a man or woman of courage? Who will regret not having earned it? We've talked a lot about partisan differences. There is one person who has spoken today.
It's not that I go to sleep at 7:30. I don't go to. Sometimes what I do is I lay down because I get up really early. Sometimes I get up at like 5 or 6. And if you notice, all my stories, all my videos are early in the morning. I do them, you know, by 8:30, 9 a.m. New York time. I'm almost done.
And in doing so, he
And then I'm
emerged
just
as
posting the videos. But so I get up really early, and then so sometimes I lay down. Sometimes I sleep like between, 5 and 7, 5 and 8, and then I get up again and stay up till like midnight. So sometimes otherwise I'd be up 20 hours a day.
in support of the 2 articles.
You can't believe how loud the fireworks are in here. Someone's blasting away fireworks show in the background.
Representative Amash, of course, is the only member of this House who has no allegiance to either party, but to his country.
So just for the record, it's 7:38 New York time. We were promised that there would be a vote between 7 and 8 o'clock. So hopefully we're approaching the vote. All right, and that could take 15 minutes. It's an electronic vote. So we already know what the outcome is, but it is like it is unprecedented to see it. You live through it. You watch the president of the United States get impeached, right? At least you could say you were there.
Of past courage can teach. They can offer hope. They can provide inspiration. But they cannot supply courage itself. For this, President Kennedy said, each man, each woman must look into their own soul. I urge my fellow colleagues in the House and, yes, in the Senate to look into your soul. Summons the courage to vote for our Constitution and our democracy. I understand we will all not see the same conclusion, but to do less betrays our oath and that of our founders, who pledged their lives, their fortune, and their sacred honor. Let us neither turn away from the evidence, which to me seems so clear, nor from our good conscience, which compels us to do what in our hearts we know to be right. Let us not allow the rule of law to end or for tyranny to find its toehold. With our votes today, we can bear true faith and allegiance to the vision of our founders, and we can show future generations what it truly means to be Americans first. Vote yes.
Goodbye.
Gentleman from Georgia.
Madam Speaker, a few weeks ago, just off of this floor, I said that a dark cloud was descending upon this body. And today, because of the clock and the calendar, it is closing. It is amazing to me what I just heard from the majority leader, that Mr. Schiff and Mr. Nadler presented a compelling case for impeachment.
This might be the closing arguments. This might be closing statements.
I'm not sure why we're here right now. It is not anywhere close to compelling. But you know what is interesting is what I have heard today. The majority leader just spoke and said that if the president was given every opportunity to come prove his innocence. I tell you what, Madam Speaker, let me have just a few minutes, stop the clock, and let me go around to the press corps and to everybody here, and I'm going to accuse you of something. You did it. You did it. You did it. You did it. Now prove it's wrong. You did it. Guess what? You don't want to, because deep down you know that that's turning the entire jurisprudence of this country upside down. You are guilty. You're not guilty until you're proven. You're innocent. And today from this floor, we have heard the majority leader say this president is guilty and not the other way around. He is innocent, and these come nowhere close to proving it. But what is left of this body? Let's have an honest conversation, Madam Speaker. What we have found over the past few weeks is it is okay for the majority to tear down a foreign leader because they can't make their case. They've called him a liar or weak or worse, or as it was called in the committee, even looked like a battered wife. It is below the dignity of this body and this majority to tear down a foreign leader because they can't make their case against this one. We have broken rules in this House, even to this moment. Chairman Schiff and the others have broken House Resolution 660 by not turning over the things that they should be turning over. I still have not got a transcript. We still don't know what we got. And the White House still has not got their stuff. I guess minority hearing rule days don't matter either. You see, there is a problem here because we're going to vote this tonight while breaking the rules. What a shameful incident. But we also found in creative interpretation of minority rights. We saw the rise of partisanship because of things that have been done even further. And we've even seen members smeared in reports by drive-by political hacks when they matched numbers of the majority or the ranking member and the members of the press. That ought to concern every one of you as much as it concerns every one of us. Nothing but a drive-by hit. But you know something? This majority leader also just said, wherever law ends, tyranny begins. But I will say this, in this House, wherever the rules are disregarded, chaos and mob rule actually begin, and the majority has taken that to a new level. It has been said today, where is bravery? I'll tell you where bravery is found and courage is found. It's found in this minority who has lived through the last year of nothing but rules being broken, people being put down, questions not being answered, and this majority saying, be damned with anything else, we're going to impeach and do whatever we want to do. Why? Because we won an election. I guarantee you, one day you'll be back in the minority, and it ain't going to be that fun. Because when you look at it, when you actually trash the rules of this House, you ought to really look at what did you gain at the end by trashing the institution you claim to love. That's the things we found out so far. But you know, they're really careful of saying, oh, you want to deal in process and process. As I said last night in the Rules Committee where they didn't want to listen, I'll win on process and I will win on facts because we have the truth on our side. Let me remind you that here's what the process actually says. There was no pressure. Look at the call. President Zelensky, President Trump, no pressure. There was no conditionality. There was nothing done to get the aid, and the aid actually came. There were 5 meetings. But when you look at it right now, none of which matter, because right now the dark cloud is descending upon this House. And I am fearful, Madam Speaker. When I look out in that abyss, I don't know what I see, but I tell you what I do see. I see coming up a president who will put his head down even through this sham impeachment, and he will do his job. He will put the American people first. He will tell them that I care about you. He will still put the economy first, and he will make sure this country stands strong. That's what I see in this abyss. That's where we're going. And Madam Speaker, it is with that hope in the future that I recognize right now that I yield 1 minute to the Republican leader of this House, the Republican from California, Mr. McCarthy.
Gentleman's recognized.
Madam Speaker, I must warn you, I'm about to say something my Democratic colleagues hate to hear. Donald J. Trump is President of the United States. He is president today, he'll be president tomorrow, and he will be president when this impeachment is over. Madam Speaker, when they accept that, maybe this House can get back to work for the American people. Now, tonight I rise not as the leader of the opposition to this impeachment, or as the elected representative from the Central Valley of California. I rise as Kevin McCarthy, citizen, no better, no worse than the 435 representatives that are in this chamber, or the 330 million Americans watching this institution make what I believe to be one of the worst decisions we have ever made. It doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, whether you're liberal or you're conservative, whether you're the first generation or the 10th, at our core, we are all American, all of us. We choose our future. We choose what kind of nation we want to be. Here is our choice tonight. Will we let impeachment become an exercise of raw political power, regardless if it damages our country? Or will we protect the proper grounds and process for impeachment now and in the future? For months, Democrats and many in the media have attempted to normalize the impeachment process that would remove a duly elected president from office.
At this point, it's like watching the Charlie Brown cartoons. It's like, doesn't even make sense anymore. Come on, vote. Let's have a vote.
Speaker Pelosi even recently admitted that Democrats have been working on this impeachment for 2.5 years. Those were her words, they were not mine. Because they lost to him in 2016, they'll do anything or say anything to stop him in 2020. That's not America. That's not how democratic republics behave. Elections matter. Voters matter. And in 11 months, the people's voice will be heard again. Impeachment is the most consequential decision Congress can make other than sending our men and women into war. Yet 85 days ago, Speaker Pelosi chose to impeach the President of the United States. She wrote the script and created an artificial timeline to make the details fit. Why else are we doing this just hours before Christmas? If that's all it was, a rush to judgment, she could be forgiven. But before the Speaker saw one word or one shred of evidence, she moved to impeach. In the past, in this body, such a step demanded a vote from all of us from the start. But not only did she move to impeach before she gave this House and the hundreds of millions of people we represent a say in whether to pursue an impeachment inquiry, she threw out the bipartisan standards this House gave President Nixon and Clinton. That is why I immediately sent Speaker Pelosi a letter asking her to follow the rules of history, of tradition, and follow those standards that have served America well. What did she say? She rejected it. She rejected.
As I said earlier, if anybody wants to call me on Skype, I got my Skype number. So the line is open. I ain't putting out my phone number, but you can call me on Skype, and we could chat. I'll put your face up if you like. It's up to you.
He was elected. And nothing was going to get in their way, certainly not the truth. Madam Speaker, Chairman Schiff said he had evidence, more than circumstantial, of collusion. That was false. In January, where we all stood in this body, we stood up, we raised our hands, we swore that we'd uphold the Constitution. And a few mere hours after that, Congresswoman Tlaib said she was going to impeach the mother effer. Those are not my words. A year before taking the majority, Chairman Nadler campaigned to the Democrats that he wanted to be chairman of the Judiciary Committee where impeachment is. New York Times writes, Madam Speaker, because he is the strongest member to lead a potential impeachment. And Congressman Raskin, a leading Democrat on the Judiciary Committee, one that the Democrats had represented.
Niles Delta, will any Democrats abstain or vote against? I only saw they had a preliminary vote earlier for something related, I guess, and only 2 Democrats defected. 100% of the Republicans voted against, and all but 2 Democrats voted. All but 2 voted for. So that's not enough to swing it. I think the Democratic majority. I think they have 40. They have 40. They have 40 more Democrats than Republicans in the House. So if only 2 defect, it doesn't mean anything. And I think there's one senator that's, one congressperson that's independent. So it's not enough to swing the election. It's not enough to swing it.
Democrats haven't just failed on process, has also failed on evidence. I've heard a lot of debate on this floor today, but I haven't heard one member of this body dispute this simple fact. President Trump provided lethal aid to Ukraine. It came before the call, it came after the call, and it continues to this day. President Trump provided Ukraine tank-busting bombs. The previous administration, they gave blankets. This is the truth. Meanwhile, the Democrats came.
You're right. I don't do drugs. I've been sober since 1994. 1994 was the last drink and drug for Conte. So it's like 25 years ago. It's a bad bottom, bad dopey bottom. And I never look back, I never look back. I get high on, meditation. I sit,
there was no extortion.
I used to run. I got heavily addicted to running for a long time, running marathons, running all over.
Based on the
but substance abuse, I don't drink. I haven't had a sip of alcohol in 25 years. I haven't smoked pot in 25 years. Nothing.
And weakest impeachment in the U.S. history. Such a definitive answer should be the end of all of this. But Speaker Pelosi is still moving forward with this impeachment without evidence of facts or truth or public support. The Speaker says it is out of allegiance to our founders. On this, I agree. I agree with the Speaker. We should listen to the founders. And if one does, it's very clear that this impeachment is unfounded and improper. In the Federalist Papers, Alexander Hamilton wrote, there would always be the greatest danger, that impeachment would be driven by partisan animosity instead of real demonstrations of innocence or guilt. That impeachment would be driven by partisan animosity instead of real demonstrations of innocence or guilt. James Madison, another author of the Federalist Papers, wrote, the danger of legislative abuse must lead to the same tyranny.
That's a good question, Sam. How do you pay attention to politics and not drown your sorrows in something? That's really important. I think that's how do you not get sucked into the negativity is right. There's a commentator, I don't know if you guys know this woman, if you ever followed the sane progressive. Her name was Debbie Lasigna. And man, would she go full bore into politics, right? She was as smart and as sharp and as schooled as Jimmy Dore, but she would go 20, 30 minutes nonstop, just venting, and she eventually burned out. She destroyed herself. I think the secret, I mean, you look, but you don't stare, right? You look, but you don't stare. If you stare at every political move, you're fucked. You'll drown yourself in it. For me, it's the meditation. I sit a
Have
lot.
it backwards. By removing a duly elected president on empty articles of impeachment, Congress will erode the public trust in our system of government. I understand you dislike the president, his beliefs, the way he governs, and even the people who voted for him. How do I know this? Because you say so day in and day out. In 2016, they even dismissed his supporters. Remember calling us deplorables? Now they are trying to disqualify our voice before the 2020 election. They want to undo the results of the last election to influence the next one. As I've said, President Trump will still be president when this is all over. But Congress will have wasted months of time.
Why can't you find me on Skype? Be the change. Why can't you find me on Skype? Just put in Marcus Conte, and I should come up as live shorthappylife _2. It should be there. Shouldn't be a problem. Most people can find it right away. Let me know what's going on. Let me know why you can't find it.
To issue more subpoenas than laws? To appease the new Democrat socialist base? That is not leadership. That is raw political politics, and you know it. By refusing to acknowledge the truth or follow the facts, by substituting partisan animosity for real demonstration of innocence or guilt, and by continuing a 3-year effort to undermine the president, this impeachment has divided this nation without any concern for the repercussions. Moreover, politicizing this process has discredited the United States House of Representatives and could forever weaken the...
Yeah, the Skype line is open. It's on. The Skype page is open if anybody wants to call.
It is the Democrats' rush to impeachment on these grounds with unfair procedures that is an abuse of power.
These streams will get a lot better. Sorry about that. These live streams will get a lot better. This is just an experiment tonight, just to see if I could get it up and running. Notice I'm not changing the pictures around. I'm not moving anything around because I don't want it to crash. But I'll do more prepared kind of presentations. It's just there's nothing really to prepare in this other than listening to these idiots talk, and then ultimately vote. So just hang in there with me.
Go forward to endless investigations. Support this impeachment. But if you want to restore a working Congress, like the previous Congress that listened to you and worked to bring the best economy in this country has ever seen.
So we got some of the LARPers in the room. Fuck you. This is not a LARP thread. LARPers, go away. Go home. Okay? This is not a place to come and antagonize people. I'm not going to tolerate it. If you do it here, you're going to get blocked for life.
And your family.
All right?
Then join with us in rejecting this baseless impeachment. That's what's wonderful about this system of ours. We are a government of, by, and for the people. Always remember, we work for you, not the other way around. Now, I will say this stronger and with more conviction than I have ever said it before. In this time of great trial and tribulation, may God bless America. I yield back.
Makes me want to vote for Bernie Sanders even more listening to this bullshit.
I yield back.
This will be in order.
Hello.
Hey, Marcus.
Hey, man.
How are you doing tonight?
All right. How you doing? How you doing, man? Hey, thanks for calling, man. Somebody calls. Hold on a second. Let me just.
Yeah, no doubt. I was.
Go ahead. Are you there?
Yeah, yep.
All right, cool, man. So what's up, man? What's on your mind? Who's selling your mind, RS?
Yeah, it's just kind of the, like everybody's focused on this impeachment thing, but we're not really looking at like the bigger picture here, and it's that we've got like an incredibly divided country, like to the point where every chat that you go in, even like yours, you can see both sides. Just some of the people are just saying like some vulgar stuff, and they've polarized us in such a way that it's taking away from actually what's going on, and they're just aiming us with, like a firecracker in our ass. Right. Excuse my language.
Yeah, no, please. Like what you're saying, we're gaslit. We're all gaslit into sides, right? They're dividing us, right? We're all split up, right? You're either for it or against it, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there is no room for middle ground anymore as far as like public opinion goes. It's like you're like not allowed, you know what I mean? It's either you're going to be hated by one side or hated by the other, and that takes away from like the whole point of America. And that's like, what are we based on? We're based on like, accepting others. You know what I mean? Like, what's our First Amendment for if you can't sit there and exercise it without somebody? I mean, somebody's going to persecute you, of course. You can say whatever you want, but why is it a terrible thing to have an opinion?
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that opinions are definitely definitely under fire these days. Anyway, but I'm sorry. I'm starting to get a little tired here.
No, man. I totally understand, dude. I watch your stuff. I just wanted to call in, and maybe give a different perspective. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, it's not man bear pig here. You know what I mean? It's not, It's not Al Gore coming at us with some stuff that isn't reality. It's it's another person. So you know what I mean. You've got to wade through the bullshit. Excuse my language, on both sides of the aisle here. Right. You know what I mean. There's one side that's saying one thing and another side that's saying the other, and they're just wanting you to aim in one of the two directions without letting you think for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reality of it is, I always believe that the reality of it is that they're all the same. Really, there's one party. There's a corporate party in America, and there is no real difference between. They have the same donors. They take the money from the same people, and then they ultimately do the favor, do the bidding of the donor class, the billionaire class. So when you're seeing them, vote for Trump as opposed to Hillary Clinton, that's not really a choice. Either way, the oligarchy wins. And in fact, the moment Trump won, the same donors that were giving millions of dollars to Hillary Clinton immediately turned around and gave millions of dollars to Donald Trump. It's not a big mystery, right? And that's the fundamental tragedy. That's why when you say, when I say Bernie Sanders and people say communist, socialist, whatever, the fact is that Bernie Sanders represents an opposition to the oligarchy, right? A real guy saying, we're not going to take this corporate money, and this is the fundamental problem in the country. It was the Occupy Wall Street movement. I mean, that's my take on it. I mean, so you can watch all these jerk-offs. You can watch them, you can watch them go back and forth all you want, and it doesn't really, we know the outcome. We know the outcome. They look at the donor class, and so there you go, man.
You're absolutely right, and the biggest thing is that government is actually what the problem is. It isn't Donald Trump. It isn't the Democrats. It's the idea of government, the way that they have it ran right now.
Right. Where are you calling from, by the way?
I'm in the middle of Pennsylvania, like right dead center about State College area.
All right, Kentucky, you said. Kentucky?
Yep. Pennsylvania.
What's
Pennsylvania.
Oh, Pennsylvania. Gotcha, man. Gotcha.
Yep,
Cool,
yep,
man.
yep.
It's snowing out.
And
You see
yeah, it is a little bit, not too bad. I mean, there's a little bit of, a little swell coming through, but
Yeah.
nothing to worry about.
Yeah, it's snowing in New York City. I saw it before. It was coming down, man. All right, man. What else you got? What else you got for us, man? Can you sing?
Can I sing? Sir, can I sing? No, I can't sing. But no, I actually wanted to call in after you mentioned that. I was the one in the chat that couldn't figure stuff out. I'm all tech illiterate, you know.
Yeah, gotcha.
But
yeah, usually
so I just appreciate
Skype
you
is
taking
pretty
the call.
good. It's a phone call, or if I mean, do you have a camera on? I could turn your camera on and see what you look like. If your camera's on, I can turn. No, I can't turn.
Yeah, no, I can't turn.
Yeah. Oh, there you are. Yeah, we see you.
How you doing?
All right, good, man. We see you now. Let's see. Get you more. Oh man, it's a fucking experiment here.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. I turned the mic off. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yep, I got my camera on.
Yeah, we saw you. There you go. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. We see you and hear you. You're just a little person up in the corner right now. I don't know how to get you to.
I really don't know either, to be honest with you. All I see is like the outline picture, like the caricature of your face.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good that you can see me through the camera. Anyway, man. All right, man. Let me let you go, man. Let's get back to this. Adam Schiff, I think, is speaking over here. We can't. I think when Skype goes on, the other thing cuts out.
Right on.
The thing.
Yep. You
cuts
have a
out.
good night, man. I appreciate taking the call.
Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
If you say the president may refuse to comply, may refuse lawful process, may coerce an ally, may cheat in an election because he's the president of our party, you do not uphold our Constitution. You do not uphold your oath of office. Well, I will tell you this.
Wow. We got to do the call-ins in the morning when I'm awake.
I will vote to impeach Donald
We got to do the
Trump.
call-ins when my brain is working. Fuck you, Adam Schiff. Goodbye. Fuck you, Adam Schiff.
All time for general debate has expired. Pursuant to House
Let's get to the vote.
767, the previous question is ordered on the resolution as amended. The question of adoption of the resolution as amended shall be divided between the two articles. The question now occurs on the adoption of Article 1. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. The ayes have it. Gentleman from Georgia.
Speaker.
Madam Speaker, the ayes and nays on that vote.
The yeas and nays are requested. Those favoring a vote by the yeas and nays will rise. A sufficient number having risen, the yeas and nays are ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. This will be a 15-minute vote.
So here you go. So what they do is yay and nay. And you saw the House Speaker, because they know that the thing is going to go for the Democrats. So they say, Democrats were louder, but then they contest that oral vote, and now they go to the electronic vote. So we're in the electronic vote now. Around she goes. 15 minutes to vote, and you could see the yeas, the Democrats on the top is 88 to 40 to 51, and this is what we've been waiting for. Here we go. On agree to Article 1 of the resolution, which is Article 1 of the resolution is not obstruction, but abuse of power. So they're voting on Article 1 of the resolution, abuse of power. And then they'll vote on Article 2. There's no sound. I guess I gotta play over it. It's like going to OTB. Like look at these guys. They're like racehorses. I believe something in my mind's going strong. So 128 yays to, you could see what's interesting. Someone asked the question before, how many Democrats will defect? And you see one so far. Up on the top row, you see 134 yay, and there's one Democrat nay. One Democrat has voted nay. And the NVs right here, these numbers on the end, not voted, they'll change to zeros. They'll keep clicking down to zeros. Trump is live. Trump is live. Trump is live. Is Trump live?
There's this idea that in portraiture...
Trump is live. Let's see if Trump is live. Trump is live. Let's find out. Now, let's see. Watch House live. Where's Trump? Trump live? Live Trump. I gotta get rid of these ads. Let's find Trump. Find Trump. There he is.
And we did it, and we have one great deal, and now you have the Democrats trying to take credit for this deal, and that's okay. Whatever it takes. For 7 months it sits. They don't do anything. We give, and by the way, I spoke to the unions the day before. I say, fellas, you got to get it done.
How's the volume? Can you hear Trump? I can't. I'm having a hard time hearing him. Can you hear him?
Sir. I love you too, sir. So we have a great deal with Mexico, with Canada, and it is true. I say it because I say it to them right now. If they ever wanted to break the deal, that's okay. If somebody wants to break a deal with me, you always have to have an alternative, right? And this country, the deals we made, you know, we did a deal with South Korea, that's great. We did a deal with Japan, $40 billion deal with Japan. And that was just a little piece of a deal, okay? That was a piece of a deal. And I said to Japan, look, you got to make this deal, or we're going to put a 20...
C-SPAN? Where is he? Donald Trump. Watch Trump.
And this country, the deals we made, you know, we did a deal with South Korea, that's great. We did a deal with Japan, $40 billion deal with Japan. And that was just a little piece of a deal, okay? That was a piece of a deal. And I said to Japan, look, you got to make this deal, or we're going to put a 20% tariff on the cars. And that's more money than anything we're talking about. So we have, that's all right.
Get out of here!
That's all right.
See, that's why Trump wins again, because Trump really, genuinely does not give a flying fuck, right? He doesn't care, right? You think he cares right now that the Democrats are voting, that it's a partisan vote, and that the people don't see it, that it's partisan politics, that it doesn't mean anything, he gets impeached, so what? He's not going to leave office. He's going to, if the Democrats keep cheating, he's going to win re-election. He doesn't care. He shouldn't care.
You're about to hear the greatest speech you've ever heard, and that's going to be the publicity, because all the fake news back there will say massive violence. Massive violence. Fake news. But seriously, look, they won't say it. They won't say it. Because when we have protesters all in favor, they don't talk about it. But there's a slob. There's a real slob. Wait. Wait a minute. She'll get hell when she gets back home with Mom. But she made, look, she screams a little bit, and you know what I like to do? Avoid them. Because, you know, I'll tell you the big problem, I could hardly hear her. What happens is all of you people go crazy, look, 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 and the place, okay, so there's one disgusting person who made, who made a, I wouldn't say this, but made a horrible gesture with the wrong finger, right? Now, they won't say that, the fake news. They won't say, if one of us did that, it would be like the biggest story ever. I think it's terrible. And I'll tell you the other thing. I don't know who the security company is, but the police came up, but they want to be so politically correct. So they don't grab her wrist lightly and get her out. They say, oh, would you please come? Would you please come with me? So, ma'am, would you? And then she gives the guy the finger, and oh. You got to get a little bit stronger than that, folks. I hate this one. But of course, the guy's afraid that, you know, he'll grab her wrist lightly and he'll be sued for the rest of his life, that you've destroyed her life. No, but I think it's a terrible thing. And here's what happens. So these fakers back there, they're the most dishonest people in the world. They'll go back. Person who made a horrible gesture only because the security man let her have so much time. And usually, I have to say, the police do an incredible job. They do it so good. And they're going to make that like it was the biggest event, like, you know, so just forget it. And we know what's going on.
Just for 1 second, you have two Democrats. So far, two Democrats went nay. So it's the score right now at this time is 186 yay Democrats to 126. 188 to 128. 188 to 128. Still, there's 115 who have not voted, and it'll go below the remaining time. There's only 6 minutes left to vote, but it generally goes past that time, and you'll see people still clicking away. So. It's a landslide. It's 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. The Democrats got a 60-point lead so far.
Percent tariffs on $250 billion. They didn't mention that. We're leaving. You know, we're making another group of tariffs 7.5%. This gives us a lot of currency to do the phase 2 deal, which they want to start. But we're taking in billions of dollars, and to help the farmers who were targeted, $16 billion and $12 billion the previous year, helps the farmers. So you know what we do? Out of that big check that we get, that money flows into the treasury, right? Out of the big check, we gave the farmers $16 billion and $12 billion for the previous year. And you know the incredible thing, and I was with a lot of farmers. I was with a group of 36 farmers at the White House. You know what they said to me? I said, don't worry about it. We're going to take care of you guys. And I used a bad word. You know what word I used? We're going to get you a subsidy. And they said, this is 2 years ago. I said, how much were you targeted for? This was the first year. 12 billion, sir. The second year was 16. They were targeted. That's what they didn't get from China. So I said, it's all right, we're going to give you a subsidy of the same, and we're going to take it out of the tariffs, and we're going to have billions and billions of dollars left over. And they said, sir, we don't want money. We just want a level playing field. I've never seen that before. They just want to be able to have a level playing field. I thought, because, you know, I sit at a lot of those meetings, and whether it's countries or whether it's companies, everybody wants money. The farmers just wanted a level playing field. But we took good care of our farmers, that I can tell you. And we made the largest ever investment in our military,
So 208 to 145 so far. Democrats are blowing it out. They're blowing out the. There's no surprises here. 145 to 209. So it's almost a 60-point lead at this point, with 77 still have not voted. I don't know what press means. Yay, nay. I don't know what PRES means. There's no inputs there, but not voted yet. Those are, as you see, those are ticking down. So Article 1 is going to pass. Article 1 is going to pass.
We have the best planes. We're going to have the best ships. We're building a lot of ships now. We're building the most powerful weapons in the world. Now, we don't want to even talk about it. We never want to use them. But you know the way we're not going to have to use them is if we have them. We're building submarines, the power of which nobody's ever seen before. Nobody's ever seen before. You know, it's funny, we have these companies come in. I like to make good deals, you like to make good deals. That's what we do, right? So these really countries that come in, prime ministers, presidents, sometimes dictators, those we can't deal with too much. Sir, we'd like to buy a nuclear submarine. I say, no thanks. I turn them all down. You have no idea how many people, but we're building some of the...
Definitely going to miss Trump's sense of humor. One day when he leaves office, man, what a great time to have been, to talk about politics with Donald Trump as the president.
I would say,
Doesn't get better than that.
mankind, womankind, this way I don't get in trouble with our friends. But we have the most powerful in the world, and what we're doing is incredible. What we're doing with missiles, with rockets, with everything. And you know what, again, we don't want to ever have to use it, but we will never have anything like what's mostly been built. We have the F-35, it's stealth. It's stealth. And I was at one of the areas where they're displaying it, and I went up to the pilots, and honestly, they're better looking than Tom Cruise. Okay? Good movie. Good guy, too, by the way. The face is equal, maybe slightly better. The body's bigger and stronger. They can definitely, just like me now. They can definitely fight. They're the real deal. These guys are so good looking. I said, you could be a movie star, go to Hollywood. No, sir, I like doing what I'm doing. So I said to these guys, you gotta see, just like central casting, I said, fellas, how good is this plane? They said, sir, it's great. Why? Because the enemy can't see it. It helps. Stealth. It's actually called super stealth. So I said, you mean they can't see, so you shoot at them, but they can't? He said, they have no idea where we are, sir. I said, that sounds good to me. Nobody does.
So let's look at this vote. 19 seconds left, and there's still 53 people who haven't voted yet. And 37 of them are Republicans, 14 are Democrats. So even if all the Republicans voted at this point, if all 36 Republicans voted and brought the yay number up, they still couldn't beat the nay. If they all voted nay, they still couldn't defeat the yay. So it's pretty much statistically impossible at this point with 44 votes left. But they'll just keep ticking. I don't understand why they take votes after the fact, but this is pretty much over. And we'll see. Then they'll vote on the second article, Article 2. Let's watch Trump.
Space Force.
Space Force.
So I'll be able to tell my kids someday and everybody else, see that Space Force? That was my baby. And you think that was easy? That's not easy. Because you have Democrats that do not like our military. They do not like our military. And we did something yesterday because for 3 years I would see people that run, incredible people, the heads of the historically black colleges and universities in the country. And every year they'd come in and they'd be looking for help. They needed help, and they do need help with it, and it's great. And they do an incredible job. So many great schools, but they need help. And every year they'd have to come and come. I got to know them, actually. I said, the only bad thing is you won't see me too much anymore because we just provided record funding for our nation's historically black colleges and universities. And it's long term, they're not going to have to come. So I said, look, you know, we could do it, will we do it every year? Or we'll do what we have. What do you want? They said, let us just have it. So we'll miss them, but they are great people. They've done an incredible job. And our extraordinary jobs boom, which created another 266,000 jobs last month. And then you add the undercount from the previous 2 months, you're close to 300,000 jobs. And you know, they said, if you're a business watcher, which I am, I love watching business, but they said they were guessing could be 70,000.
We just let these last few votes tick away. 28. There's 28 no votes so far. And then they'll make an announcement. They'll pass the resolution. It looks like Nancy Pelosi's took her seat. Oh, she's so happy. Look at Nancy. She's on a seat. She's got a seat. She's so happy. The Speaker of the House. She's got her vagina's wet. She got what she wanted. She got what she wanted. They wanted to impeach Trump. It was Russia, whatever. It doesn't matter. They got what they wanted. They made their point. It's, you know, it's historical. It's in the history books now. Donald Trump has been impeached. Has been impeached on Article 1, abuse of power. Donald Trump goes down. Does he give a fuck? I don't think so.
Switch to Boost Mobile and get more. Like 4 lines for...
Oops, another ad. Another ad. I'll figure out how to get rid of the ads. So stupid, right? Hey, G4. Hey, G4. Come on.
The investigation of the Trump campaign.
They consider it a conflict of interest, and that I can't understand. I can't. But you know what? I'll tell you what I see tremendous job growth because we're setting records. But you know what I also see? The 401ks, where people are up 90%, they're up 97%, they're up 82%. I tell you the story all the time. I mean, I have people coming up to me. A man came up, a policeman. I've told the story, but I've had many, so many times. But this guy in particular, because it was early. And that was a year ago. That was a long time ago. Right now, it's much higher than that. But he said, sir, I want to thank you. My wife thinks I'm a loser. All my life, we never did well with the 401ks, with stocks, everything I invested. I'm up 72%, sir. She thinks I'm a financial genius. She's so in love with me. She's so in love. She said, darling, I think you're one of the greatest investors. Why don't you do this professionally? And I don't even know what I'm doing, sir. I just have all these stocks. So I just want to tell you, I look at a 401k. Who has 401ks here, right? So that's what.
This is the final vote. R and B. You have more knowledge than I. Not really. This isn't the final end-all, be-all. Isn't there a public vote or more? No. This is it. The Democrats, the House votes to impeach on 2 articles. Article 1, which is obstruction, which is abuse of power, and the other one is obstructing Congress. If both articles pass as they're about to pass, then President Donald Trump has been officially impeached. Then it moves to the Senate, where only the Senate can convict the president and remove him from office. And they need 2/3 of the Senate to remove the president. So out of 100 people, 2/3, do the math. They need 66 senators there's only like 47 or 48 Democrats, so it won't happen. There's no way that could happen. But that's the end of it. That's it. And they also said that the Senate part of it would be overseen by the sitting what is it? The Supreme Court Justice. What is it? Roberts? Justice Roberts would oversee the Senate, and that's how they would proceed with. So it would be very orderly, you know. So the Senate needs 2/3 of the vote. So Trump.
Your economy would have crashed. You were going down. The regulations were taking it down. The taxes were taking it down. Instead of being up 92% or whatever you're up, a lot, you would have been down. You would have been in less than half. It was crashing. For all those people that would say, oh, it's the Obama. Let me tell you something.
Here's the final countdown. You're right. 7 more votes, 7 no votes.
A couple of months, it was a disaster.
And Pelosi will make she'll make the announcement, and then they'll do another vote for another 15 minutes, right, for Article 2. But it'll be, I guess, pretty much it'll be the same. It's almost divided along party lines. You can see it. As 425,
we had, this is about a
425 in Congress.
Are we spoiled? I watch these guys come in.
Well, yeah, so it's I think there's 425 Congress and 100 Senate. It was exactly along party
I don't
lines.
understand it. And did you see the new polls from USA Today came out? I'm killing everybody. And they hate me. USA Today hates me. USA.
So you got 6 more votes. 6 more to go. It's like what? It's like OTB. So 2 Democrats. There were 2 Democrats that voted nay, and all of the rest voted yay. 5 more votes. 5 more. 5 more no votes. Four more. 4 more, 3 more.
For almost 50 years.
Four more years. 4 more.
See, these people back here, your seat or stand is better, right? But you know what? They're going to be much more famous. Because the cameras can't see you, they can only see them. And you know, the other thing, the cameras, you ever notice, I go to these stadiums, 25, 30,000 people, they never show the crowd. You know why? Because they don't want to have... If crazy Pocahontas, goes to the middle of Central Park or whatever, she's in Manhattan, you got me, and people, I mean, I could have Barron Trump go into Central Park and he'd get a crowd that would be just like. He's 13. He'd get a bigger crowd. But if she has a crowd,
on this vote, the yeas are 230, the nays are 197, present is 1. Article 1 is adopted.
So there you go.
The question is on adoption of Article 2. The question is on the adoption of Article 2. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. No. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition? For what purpose does the gentleman...
Madam Speaker, I ask for a roll...
For what purpose does the gentleman from New York seek recognition?
I ask for a roll call vote.
A recorded vote is requested. Those favoring a recorded vote will still rise. That will be in order.
She's drunk.
A sufficient number have arisen. A recorded vote is ordered. Members will record their votes by electronic device. Is a 5-minute vote.
5-minute vote. 5-minute vote. So Article 1 has passed. The president, she sounds drunk. She definitely sounds drunk. She sounds like, how you doing? So we would, blah, 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 blah. So 5-minute vote. It's gonna be more than 5 minutes, but there you go. It's clicking pretty fast. This is Article 2. Article 1 has passed. Article 2 now is I don't know why I say it, can't remember. Article 2 is obstruction of Congress. So abuse of power, obstruction of Congress. Yeah, abuse of power. Where's number 2? Where's number 2? Number 2. Article 2, obstruction of Congress. The Congress shall blah 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 blah.
Remember when they all said, no, you can't win Michigan, you can't. And then I did one in Grand Rapids, right? Grand Rapids. We had 32,000 people that night. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. That means it was election day when I started speaking. Hillary, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, and Bill Clinton. They did an emergency trip to Michigan at 6 o'clock. They got here at prime time. They started the speech at 500 people. I got here at 1 o'clock in the morning the next day, which is now election day. How many people were there? 32,000. 32,000 people outside his the last speech in Michigan. And they said, well, sir, it's very hard to win Michigan. I said, why would it be hard? Here's the beautiful thing. Everything I told you, I've done.
You know what's an interesting observation? Where did Nancy Pelosi go? They pulled her off the chair. They're probably like, Nancy, you're drunk. Nancy, you're drunk. Get off the chair. You're embarrassing us. See, the other chick took the other, whatever, whoever this lady is. Where's Nancy? She's drunk. So 2 minutes remaining. It's clicking down pretty fast. And the only difference this time is you have 3 Democrats nay as opposed to 2. So you're pretty much going to get an identical vote. So the President of the United States has been impeached. Now it'll move to the Senate, where the good senators will not convict, and that'll be the end of it, right? The Democrats will try to, for another all of January, it's so serious and so severe, but we already know the outcome. We've known the outcome since the beginning, that because of the balance of power, that they couldn't possibly get their ousting of power. Interestingly, that's that bald guy right there. That is Max Rose from Brooklyn, Congressman Max Rose. Sneaking in there. Get off the chair. Oh, there's Nancy. She's back. She's back. She went and took a drink. She had her drink. Trump really doesn't give a flying fuck. Anybody want to call in? Want to try to Skype? You want to try the Skype thing? Want to try to Skype? Want to try to Skype? Another minute left for President Donald Trump before he gets officially impeached. Yeah, I'm definitely tired, man. You got that shit right. I'm not a night guy. But this is historical, man. You have to do it, right? You got to talk about this shit. And it's the first live stream, Marcus Conte live, coming to you live. Live, like interactive live. Like you say something and I say something back. Wow, it's fucking live. It's like a phone conversation. Except there's like, there's like 50 of us. How many people are chatting right now? 46 of us. There's 46 of us. 46 of us chatting. 46. So time has expired. 72 no votes still outstanding. I know it's 8:30. But I told you, I get up at 5 in the morning. I didn't take my nap. I didn't take my cat nap. I was out singing today, too. I was out on the subway, man, doing a little busking. I was singing Christmas songs, carols. Singing Christmas carols, singing Frosty the Snowman 7 times in a row. It's fun. I like doing that shit, man. Frosty the Snowman was a jolly, happy soul, and a corncob pipe and a button nose, and 2 eyes made out of coal. 62 to go. 62 to go. 62 to go. Yo. 62.
Right now in the polls than we were ever in 2016. You gotta remember when you walk into, it's November 3rd this time. November 3rd. By the way, though, that evening, that incredible evening in November, right? One of the biggest nights in the history of television. You never hear them say it, so I might as well. That election and my debates. You see, their debates are dying. Who wants to watch Buttigieg?
I love Trump, but man, I can't agree with any of his politics, man. The trickle-down economic shit. Come on, Donald. Treat the people right. So we're almost done here. 56, no more votes. And then Grandpa could go to sleep. 27. Thank you guys for hanging in there, man. It's been a long night, man. How we doing? Am I keeping it going? Or are you guys falling asleep on me? I don't know. Come on. Sing it. What do you want to hear? Want to hear Frosty the Snowman? Okay. I can't sing right now, but I'll just play the guitar. Oops. Did a good job tonight, Vinny, man. A lot of the LARPers stayed out of the chat. Good. I mean, what is the point? We'll do I got a lot to say about the LARPers. I've been doing a lot of research. I got a lot of shit ready to dump on their heads. But it is interesting that, the psychology of the LARP. These guys that just come in here and try to turn the conversation to their own stupid, pathetic stories. They're just talking about themselves and how they fucked over this one and how they made this one miserable. It's just like it's so ridiculous, really. Because this is your country right here. You're watching your democracy fall apart. You're watching a drunken woman on the podium there, and we're watching the impeachment of an American president, And it's no big fucking deal, you know? But what do the LARPers talk about? They talk about themselves and their stupid stories, their fake stories, right? It's crazy, man. Like as if anybody believes the bullshit, right? All these ridiculous conspiracy theories. I can't follow it anymore. It makes me ill. Yeah, Kurt, I don't know how to, I'm having this is just the first time setting up a live stream. If I can do it, if I can simultaneously put the live casting on both channels, I would do that. I just don't know how to do it at this point. I'll figure it out. But you know what it is about this stream right here, like the LARPers? I know Vinny's doing a good job chopping down the condescending voices in the chat, but it is interesting that I think just the just not talking about the nonsense in the chat about who fucked over who and such. It kind of diffuses their messaging, I think. Anyway. Truth is good, man. The truth, this idea that the truth community, that there's no interest in truth, I fundamentally disagree with that. I think that there is plenty of interest in truth, that truth always prevails. But it's hard to, I don't think a lot of people know what the truth is anymore. And there's, I guess, profit in not telling the truth. I don't know. I'll always be in the truth. I'll always stay in the truth. I've tried the other way. I've tried to be a phony, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Hey, Willie Diggs says censorship, man. Sometimes, don't perceive. I used to think about that too. I used to say, oh no, you can't censor, and you have to let everybody speak up. But there are networks of people that all they want to do is just destroy positive speech. Anybody who speaks up, they're just deliberately condescending, and to shut those people up is not censorship. That is, that's your civil duty to quiet those people down. That's what I found it to be, because otherwise all you're doing is you're not hearing honest dialogue. You're just hearing noise. So. It's almost over. The vote is almost over. We're watching, there's 16 more. You look at the NV side. This is where you look. See, NV, not voted yet. So 2 more Democrats have to vote, and 13 more Republicans have to vote, 12. You see how it's ticking down? This number keeps ticking down as these numbers tick up. But the totals are already in. It's 228 to 188. With 14 remaining, so the balance can't possibly. It can't. It's a yay. It means that both articles of impeachment have passed, and Nancy Pelosi looks like she's just about to make a. She's just about to speak up again. So. Yeah, no time remaining, but as I said, even though there's no time remaining, the votes are still coming in. Right? It's cheating. I know. After 5 minutes, a 5-minute vote is in Congress is 15 minutes. That's the way it works. In the perfect world, the voting should have been closed, but that's not how it works. They'll wait until all of the no votes are in, and then she'll make the announcement, hit the gavel, and that's the end of it. And then there'll be other votes that that don't really mean anything, and that's when we're going to kill it. We'll kill it right there. Barney Rubble and the Constable never had squirting plastic pussies, but we did have a dick guitar. We had a guitar. I had a guitar that was literally the shape of a dick, and it used to squirt. It used to squirt. We had it rigged up with silly string. Oh, we got a call. Hey, what's up, Neil? What's up, Neil?
How you going, man?
Hey, what's up, man? What's up? What's on your mind, man? Watching the vote. You watching the vote? You having a good time?
Yeah. It's phoning from Scotland, man.
Yeah,
it's 2 a.m. here, man. Yeah, crazy stuff. I just wanted to phone in. If it's your first show, you know?
Yeah, man. Where you calling from?
Scotland.
Hey, Scotland. All right, man.
Yeah, it's late.
Overseas.
It's late here.
Hold on one second. Hold on. Stop.
Can you hear me all right?
Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just I'm watching the vote right now, so I'm sorry. So I'm here, brother.
Cool.
So we just watched the gavel. So it's pretty much over. So what do you think of that, man? You're not even an American. What do you think of our politics? You guys got your own problems.
It's crazy here. Yeah, we've got our own stuff going on, but yeah, it's funny. Labour just got trashed there, so.
Yeah.
Crazy.
The British, the British Brexit and such. It's crazy. It's crazy shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
Bang.
Similar stuff.
Yeah. So what else is going on, man? How's the weather in Scotland? What's going on, man? What's going on in Scotland?
It's all right, bit cold, but it's winter.
Yeah. You sound like you're smoking something over there in Scotland. You smoking something? Scotland. Somebody says, Ian Clay says, Scotland people don't sleep. Is that true?
Not in the winter, no.
No. All right, man. So we watched it. It's over. It is now officially over. The stream went down. And
Nancy was absolutely steaming there, man. What was that all about?
Yeah, Donald Trump is officially impeached. Only the third time in history. The first time was a president named Andrew Johnson, not Andrew Jackson, but Andrew Johnson, and then Bill Clinton, and now Donald Trump. Three presidents that have been impeached, and none of them have ever been removed from office. So there you go, man.
Yeah, it's not gonna get kicked out in the Senate, surely.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about, mate?
Nothing. I just wanted to phone in, just to say hi. I followed you for a bit, trying to think. Was it Lift the Veil? That's where I found you from, eh? And then it's sort of funny when you bump into what's his name, Jason Goodman.
Oh yeah.
So
that was crazy.
It's always funny.
That was a total freak.
Yeah, and I've been following this LARP stuff as well. It does. It's totally negative. It's really negative energy, and it's like sucks you in. I've seen it. That Lift the Veil guy. That's how I found you. But he's something not right about him. And it's just like just off-putting. You know what I mean? It's just like really negative stuff.
Yeah. Why is that? Why? What's the attraction to that negativity? You know, it's like, I mean, the thing.
I think it's the false stories. I think they suck people in with these like really sort of like, you know, heart-wrenching stories, and then it's I don't know. But some of it's like twisted and sick, yeah, and like it's fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I you know, it's interesting too because I've been following this the QAnon killer story. There's a guy.
Well, I follow Q as well. That's the thing, and I was skeptical at first, but I've stuck with it, and it's basically just Trump news. But they have been ahead of the news for the last 2 years, and I've sort of followed it. And you're kind of skeptical on it, but I've kind of followed it, skeptically. But they have kind of been right on quite a few things. So
yeah. The thing,
but it's got a Trump slant,
Yeah. The thing with the negativity, though, it's like I don't know what the attraction is. I mean, what attracted me to it was that the fact that the guy here, this kid Anthony Camillo, who shot the Gambino crime boss, was apparently, according to his lawyers, he was down a rabbit hole. He was down one of these negative kind of, these think tanks or whatever we want to call them, these gangs,
that could be
teams of gang
yeah.
stalkers. And that's what attracted me. That's what kind of brought me down the rabbit hole over the last 3 months to see. We haven't found out exactly who programmed this particular kid to shoot the guy, but it is very similar.
Sure. It's funny though. He does turn up in one of the Q posts. That family is mentioned in the Q posts. It's weird, actually.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
so I noticed that one.
I saw Praying Medic covered it. He covered the QAnon killer kid. But it did.
Right. No, I saw it on something else. Yeah, I don't know about that guy, but I saw it on another channel. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, man.
Just to say, yeah.
Listen, good talking to you, man. I'm gonna try to kill this. I think we're going over
have a good Christmas,
2 hours.
and keep the tunes going.
Yeah, man. Hey, thanks so much for the call. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for testing this out.
Right, have a good one.
Appreciate
Cheers.
it.
Bye.
Peace, man. So, so I'm gonna call it. I guess that's it, right? So you want to hear Trump one more time, or we're pretty much done. So that's the outcome of it. I'm sorry you didn't hear the hear Nancy Pelosi hit the gavel, but it was unanimous, and so Donald Trump is officially impeached, and here he is at a rally. He don't give a flying fuck, right? And now the vote will go to the Senate for Senate approval. Senate approval. Will they convict the President of the United States? I don't think so, man. So thank you, Vinny, for moderating. Thank you very much. Thanks everybody for participating in this first chat. I'll get it down more. I'll do it more at during my hours, which are earlier in the morning, where I'm fully awake. But this was a good test. What's up, Sterling Price, man? What's up, Sterling? Better late than never. Better late than never. Sterling Price in the house, man. Sterling Price was one of the first persons to chat on this board. He was one of the first people that was following me back in the day when I was doing this whistleblowing with the New York City municipality when I was a sanitation cop. And it's always good to see Sterling Price in the chat, man. Always good to see you, man. My brother Sterling. So I'm gonna kill it right here, and thank you very much, Vinny. We're gonna kill it right here. What's up, Sterling? So I'm just gonna put this up, man. So thank you very much for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow. Marcus Conte reporting. Marcus Conte.